This episode of Super Pulp Science is brought to you by ChasingArtwork.com, where you can find all the paintings and work of Justin Curry.
They're not as good as the work that you can find at gmbcamicha.bigcartel.com.
Attention, citizens! It's time for Super Pulp Science.
This is Super Pulp Science, where we talk about how genre gets made. This is our very special social distancing episode. The next few weeks, we will probably be a little bit different on the audio because I am in my house. Dan Vadeboncoeur is in his house, and Justin Curry, also known as Chasing Artwork, is in his house.
That's right.
Because Canada is in lockdown right now.
Not exactly lockdown, but people are staying inside most of the time is the deal.
Right.
So we're not allowed to touch each other or see each other.
We're a few weeks ahead of what happened in Italy, basically, is what the WHO says, and so we should just try to do better than they did.
We're trying to avoid what happened in Italy is essentially what we're trying to do here. But yeah, it's fine.
So how long do you guys think this is going to last?
I hope not longer than a month or two.
Yeah,
I have an event coming up in June, so I'm hoping that it'll be over.
Yeah.
But the question, I guess, for you guys is like, how is this affecting your business model of going to cons? I imagine pretty much every con you signed up for has been canceled.
Canceled. And Alberta is I'm using Alberta as my windsock. They've canceled school for the year.
The whole year.
For the year, yeah. So over now.
Oh my goodness.
So probably that will follow suit once our union catches up, which will mean that means that they are assuming at least a couple of months of trying to figure it out.
Wow. Well, the thing is, like, you keep hearing this flattening the curve term being thrown around, which is what we're trying to do, which is trying to minimize the amount of cases out at once, so there's not a ton of people rushing to hospital to be taken care of, to lighten the load on our healthcare system. But what that does is it stretches it out over a longer time.
That's
like
right.
If the curve was steep, this would be over in a month, and everybody who was going to get it would get it.
Yeah, we'd have 5,000 fatalities.
That's not good. Yeah,
that's right. No, it's not good. As much as it sounds great, it's only a month of staying inside. More people would die that way. That's not good.
We have a lot of people in my family that would be quite adversely affected by that. So we are just trying to, but like what you're saying, since this is not a podcast about medical health, but in fact a podcast about how genre gets made, it has definitely affected the business model. But one business model today has not been affected. I'm drawing attention now to Justin's very impressive Starlight Kickstarter, which is only a few hours old, and the last time I checked, crossed $200,000.
It is currently.
Wow.
I just refreshed. Is at $216,000.
So that's kind of crazy. And so for someone who is listening to us and is like, "Oh my God, does that mean Justin got 260?" No, he worked for the company that is launching this Kickstarter, which is Starlight. We referred to it a bunch in our last episode. That Kickstarter is live, and in the first 26 minutes, it was funded.
Wow.
Wild to watch.
Yeah. I think it's important to point out that I had very little to do with the Kickstarter itself. Like the artwork, I did the artwork for the board game, but the marketing and build up and like the putting together the Kickstarter, that wasn't me, and it was done super impressively. Like I'm blown away by how well prepared they were for this. Like I think they did it right. They advertised for the Kickstarter like a month before it happened.
Yeah.
So the amount of people that were waiting for it to go live, I think was, obviously substantial if it got funded in the first, 17 minutes it was funded?
Yeah, 17 minutes, I think it was crossed at 50,000, and then it was like past $80,000 on the Kickstarter within an hour at least, it seemed. What I think is another really important point for those of you who are like, oh my God, is Kickstarter the gold mine? A reminder that they put in months and months, probably 6 or 8 months of work ahead to prepare for that launch.
Yeah, like we were talking about, we started this project around this time last year, and I'm like, So the artist, like just the artwork started, we started discussing it this time last year, but I'm sure they had been planning it out before that. So a little over a year of planning before they went live. So, and I think it really shows.
Yeah. A really interesting thing too that I noticed that I don't see on a lot of Kickstarters, but I did see on this one, there was a bonus tier if you backed it within 72 hours. You got a bunch of extra stuff.
A free new player ship.
I designed, it was kind of a last minute. We had some time left over in the budget. Some things went quicker. They turned out they didn't need certain pieces of artwork from me, so we decided instead to design a player ship.
And they're selling it. They're giving it to you for free if you do get in the first 72 hours. But then it'll be available for sale. You can just buy it if you want, if you don't get in at that time. But you have to say, like Justin, don't sell yourself short. All the visual presentation of this is your artwork. Like everything here is you.
Super rad.
Including the logo, right? Did you not do the logo?
I did the logo as well. Right. Yeah, that old graph design. And you guys helped me with that logo.
That's right.
If I recall.
Yeah. It's only 10 choices to choose from. I can't remember if that's the one I chose or not.
I did go overzealous with the amount of options I gave you guys and the client, but it's been a while since I've done a logo, so I really wanted to make a lot of logos.
You know what? Why don't we take a minute and pause there and say, just for the person that is designing their book cover, their comic book, their game, their whatever it is, what were your easy steps that you followed in putting those logos? What should we keep in mind when you're putting that logo package together? Because what you showed us was sort of, was something I thought was really clever and interesting and a real good way to streamline it. I think that'd be worth sharing for someone listening here.
So for logos, typically how I do it, and like any process, there's a million different ways and everybody has kind of their way, but the way I go about it is I was given information about the project. I was given not really too many restrictions, just give us logo options. So the first thing I do is kind of shotgun designs. Like I try something that's just type. I try something that is really heavily illustrated. I try like probably 10 to 15 different options, and they're all pretty rough. Like they're almost like hand sketched logos. And from there, the client can kind of narrow it down to like, I like this type direction with just a little bit of a graphic, or I really like this really illustrative type.
So would you say that that's similar to, like just figuring out the shape language of a image? Is that what you're going for there? Like it's a really rough, broken down, like thumbnail drawing, but of the logo.
Well, I think like most clients don't have an idea of what it's supposed to look like. So you kind of need to give them a bunch of options. Like you need to give them some no's and some maybes and some I like that, So same with like when you're thumbnailing a cover, usually your first idea isn't the idea you go with, but you do 10 different little thumbnails, and just from those rough sketches, you can kind of feel out the direction that you need to be going. With Starlight, I think I gave them too many options, which is a bad idea as well. Like the human brain stops putting weight into decisions when you give it too many things. So I designed probably like 20 different options, and instead of sending all 20, I probably should have narrowed it down to like the 7 best, but I also wanted to, I was excited about the project, so I kind of wanted to give them everything.
It also shows it's good value for what they're paying you. Like
that was part of it too. I wanted them to see all the work I had done.
Yeah.
And that was always like when I worked as a designer in a design firm, I always wanted to send all the rough concepts to the client, but the art director, he would come in and narrow it down to like the 4 best. We're only showing them these.
Yeah.
But behind those 4, there was, 30 different options that the client never sees.
Then when you were doing the illustrations on Starlight, did you give them that same level of options? Or when you were breaking down there's sort of different factions in the game that kind of each have a different style. How much input did you get from them, and how much was, all you?
It was a similar process. I presented them with a lot of sketches of kind of a lot of different styles. And from there, we kind of narrowed down like this organic looking ship. That's going to be this faction. Do more like that for that faction. these like really squarish geometric designs. Like I think that belongs with this faction. So use that as kind of the style template for that ship, those ships kind of thing. So yeah, similar kind of process. But once like it became apparent really early on that they really liked what I was doing and trusted in my decision-making capabilities. So once I kind of had like a bit of a direction, I was just kind of let loose and did my thing. And that's, I think, why this project turned out as great as it did, was I didn't have the restrictor plates on.
We got the bug growing. We got most of the protein isolated. We'll have an antibody test within a week. Casey's put the bug into rodents and rhesus, and if everything goes well, we'll know the genetic sequence within a month, and if you leave us alone, we'll map this guy down to its last gene. Make you famous.
The amount of times we talked about on this podcast, what would happen if all conventions stopped tomorrow?
Oh my God, I know, I was thinking of that.
And now it's happened.
Literally,
yeah, that conversation every couple of months.
Well, and interestingly about that is I got this text. So, all conventions stop. I got a push, immediately a bump on my Big Cartel and my Society 6. I immediately saw a little bit of a spike on that, like people who were...
Did you advertise that, like...
I did.
Hey, I'm a convention artist. Here are my stores.
I didn't put it quite that way, but I did put a thread on Twitter that was like, here, just like my pinned tweet right now is all the different ways in which you can find products that I have worked on. Some from publishers, some from mine. So there's no like direct bump to my bank account right now. But ideally, the long tail of publishing is that those sales eventually wend their way to you as that money moves its way along the pipe slowly.
Right.
So there was some of that. But then also I got immediately contacted, I shouldn't say immediately, but yesterday contacted by a collaborator of mine, Jillian Horton, who had an opportunity to do some comics work related to medicine. I had done that book with her called Medicine, with the Faculty of Medicine. And
Say medicine one more time.
I'm trying to figure out how to work it in. And so good medicine is good information, really. And so they want to do some illustrated comics that are related to people in the, like, they're for doctors. It's not for the public, but these like information graphics comics to go out to doctors related to how to deal with a bunch of this coronavirus stuff, which was a weird kind of thing. Normally I wouldn't be interested in doing that kind of work, but it felt like a way to actually help by doing what I normally do. Right? Which is like a weird thing. So I'll know more about that Wednesday, Thursday. So next week's podcast, if there is real news about it, I'll let you know. But it was the message I got was sort of like, hey, is it true that you won't be doing shows because they're all canceled? I was like, yeah. They're like, does that mean you have some space in your schedule to do some illustration work? I was like, yeah, maybe. Although I am on dad duty now because the kids are out of school. And then we've sort of been figuring out what a reasonable timeline to get work to the public would be. So I'll know that sort of by Wednesday or Thursday whether it's really happening. But it was a neat kind of twist on what I normally do based on work I had done before. You never know what leads to what other thing. So this is an example of that for sure.
Do you have like any other plans in place? Like I've been kind of making little jot notes. I see like a lot of our friends are in the same boat. They do conventions as kind of, their full-time bread and butter is going to cons and selling their artwork. And now that that's not happening, it's been kind of interesting to see some different strategies of what some people are doing to try to fill the gap.
Well, Arena City is a project that I'm doing, which, it hasn't been announced exactly.
You talked about it before on the podcast.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit, but it is one where I'm able to double down on doing some of that page work early. They have the funds in place to pay people for their pages as they come in. And I had set up a schedule that was basically around my convention schedule. And so I'm in touch with them to say, like, since that's not happening, can I get to work on this sooner? And because they're a digital comics platform, yes is the answer. That's sort of everyone. I'm sure everyone there is probably working from home already.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens, though. There's a lot of people who don't have the ability to pivot. You and I have a few other irons in the fire, is the way to describe it. And so it's not dire yet. Give it a couple of months if we're all still.
I think we're all going to be, if this is still going on in a few months, we're all going to be like stir crazy, chomping at the bit just to get outside and just, I mean, not that we can't go outside, but it's just, it's a very abrupt shift in everyone's lifestyle. And it's kind of, we're just getting used to it now.
Well, my wife immediately, we dropped our kids out of school a week early, right? Like it's ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Technically Friday, they're not supposed to be there, but we said, we have the capacity as people who work mostly from home to say, keep them home. So we just said, okay, we'll do that now. And my wife immediately made a schedule. She posted it in the main room of our house, and just like it lays out like exercise time and quiet time and schoolwork time. And so we've been running, essentially a pretty scheduled existence the last 3-4 days already. And that, it sounds funny. Like, why would you do that with all this free time that you've been given? It's actually made it so much easier. We as a family, we have scheduled time to clean up and do chores and go play outside and do all that kind of stuff. And then time where my wife and I sit down and do the homeschool stuff, and we, hit the curriculum points, and we read, write, and do arithmetic for a couple hours. But really, if you're homeschooling and you're giving focused attention, a couple of hours is all you need.
Yeah.
And then if you're going outside to get exercise and you're doing all those other things, like school is not just supposed to be math and writing.
Right.
And so you can get out in the world and do all kinds of other things. So that's what we've been doing. We've just been avoiding people.
Yeah. See, when they made the announcement last week that they were going to give us one more week of school, and it's mostly to get the parents time to prepare to get to get their childcare in place. Although now they've just announced today that they're closing down all the daycare, so I don't know what some parents are going to do. But yeah, and I'm also at my work at the college we've gone online for everything. So we're spending this week converting all of our course load to online courses. But I did send my kids to school yesterday because I figured why not. But they didn't do much. That was the problem. Like half the school wasn't there, so they couldn't really do the curriculum they usually do. So I just kept them home today. I said, well, we might as well just stay home. Then the school's going to send us work to get them to do over the break. So we're just going to do that work. And that's kind of how we're coming at it. But I was never really worried. I'm not really worried about them getting the virus or anything like that. I'm just like, I don't know. I just kind of go along with what everyone else is doing, trying to do my part to.
Well, and I think it's important to be a little bit overcautious.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
For the sake of those that can't be. And so that's what we're doing.
It spreads like the flu. Impossible. Fine. Go to the hospital, check it out yourself. Go without a mask, you'll see more clearly.
I immediately, in the last 3-4 days, I mean, I'm not as active on social media as some, but I saw a climb of at least 100 followers in the last few days of people responding to the art that I've been posting. Like, people are clearly online looking for distraction, looking for some news that's not related to the virus, and that's what I've been posting, and I've seen a uptick in people responding to that.
I have to say, it's refreshing when you see stuff that is not related to the coronavirus on social media right now, because everything is. It's very nice to see other things like you guys are posting, so that's good.
So that's somewhat how that is being affected. But like my book launch, which is supposed to be April 15th, currently postponed. McNally Robinson said we're not going to cancel yet till we know, but I mean, they said you can feel free to tell everyone that it's canceled. We'll hold the date for you, and we'll see what happens, and then we'll reschedule as necessary. I was supposed to go do a press check at the at Friesen's where it's being printed. I love to be able to go and watch the first book come off of the machines. That's such a amazing moment. But they just said, please don't come.
Please stay away.
So the books are going to be delivered. I'm going to get my slice of the print run delivered to my house April 9th, it sounds like. So I may do, just for funsies, do some kind of book giveaway when those arrive, just as a way of having fun and celebrating it alone.
You could do some kind of drive-through situation where people pull up in the back alley, honk twice, you come out with a book.
Oh my God, they PayPal me money so we don't have to even.
Yeah.
What could I do? I could leave the book sealed in plastic, right? Hand them with salad tongs through the windows. Like, we're making these jokes, but you never know what's going to happen.
You never know.
Yeah, no, it's fun, but it's good to make jokes about the situation. I think it helps for everyone to kind of deal with it in a different way. So I'm a big fan of the coronavirus jokes. I love these; they're really funny.
You have to release it somehow, yeah. And if there are parents listening, dear listeners, who are totally overcome with the amount of new responsibilities of trying to do your job from home while also being a teacher, just remember that reading and writing, it's a volume game. It's not the details.
Yeah.
If your kid is reading every day, writing every day, doing a little bit of math every day, they're improving.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about curriculum outcomes that are being sent. Don't worry about lesson plans necessarily. Like, don't use that as a way to add to your stress. Just make sure that you're putting time aside to do a little bit of that basic work every day, and the cumulative effect will be greater in most cases than a month at school if you're doing a month of that every day.
Agreed.
So just everyone chill out about that. And make art. Like, holy shit, if there was ever a time that you need to just get your ideas out and like your stresses out, my goodness.
Don't want to sound like this isn't a serious thing, but part of me is kind of like a little excited about having to stay inside and just work away for the next couple of weeks. Like,
yeah, Justin is in that category where he has no children to worry about.
My responsibilities are pretty minimal. Yeah, I'm lucky in that way. So I get to just kind of dive into a bunch of projects that I've been eagerly awaiting to dive into. And now that I don't have to worry about the logistics and planning for conventions for the next month at least, it really opens up my schedule to finish some things up that I've been itching to finish up.
And then I assume that you work from home often, so that you're not. There's no danger of you like just spending the time playing video games and stuff, or is that still a danger?
That's on my to-do list. It's something I can't seem to get. I was supposed to play video games yesterday, but I painted the whole time instead. It was on my list, like, play some video games. You finally have some time. But this new painting is too fun.
Okay.
An important thing that, Dan, you should know about Justin and I is we make these lists of how we're going to procrastinate.
Okay.
And then we don't get to it.
Okay, that's good.
We're going to go to a movie on Thursday. We're going to skip work in the afternoon. And then we get to it. It's like, actually, I'd rather just draw some more. Okay, we're gonna take a week and we're going to beat this video game. And we buy it and we put it on the shelf in the studio. And then that week comes up and it's like, I just would rather work. It's kind of sickening.
That's funny.
So I've actually had more time to read and do, I'm trying to model proper things for my kids, which is not like be a workaholic, number one, and ignore them. So instead, I've had a lot more time in the last 3-4 days with not work related activities while still maintaining a super high level of productivity. Because when I have a couple hours, I get right to it.
Speaking of which, for artists who are stuck at home right now, who are in similar situations to us where conventions are a source of income for them, what recommendations would you have to, what would you get started on? What plans would you make for when life returns to some semblance of normalcy?
Well, the first thing I would suggest for sure is do what, my wife and I did, Tara and I. We looked at what our expenses are normally that are frivolous expenses that we usually accept as being frivolous because we have a steady income. Mm-hmm. And just say, okay, if we did without all of those things, how does that change the bottom line? Right? And then that gives you just right there that tiny little bit of consideration, lets you know that actually there's a lot more room in my budget for the basic necessities than I've been giving it credit for. And then the other thing is right now, artists, send out those proposals. Send out those things. Sure, those editors are busy. Sure, everyone is panicking. All that stuff is true. But you're going to be prioritized by the inbox. when it all turns back on.
Right.
So get those, you know, I sent out 2 submissions yesterday, right? Because I was like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. What if it lasts for 5 months? You know, you listen to one news station and it's like, okay, fine. Then it takes about 5 months to hear back from these people. I better start now.
And you have the time, why not?
Yeah. Well, it's a little different. You know, we have to, if you've got kids at home, you have to sort of figure out what that is. And then the other thing is I'm home. I'm actually in my, we have a library in my house, which is like a former studio room. When we moved to the studio downtown, this became the family library. But I have a stack of about 100 old sketchbooks in here that I'm going to go through and see what ideas I'm basically going to do some archaeology of my old work.
You're stealing from your past self.
Yeah, I'm going to leverage the time that I've already put in, that I've collected in these sketchbooks, and find some other ideas. I've been hard at work on the follow-up to Automatic Age, which is called The Backbone of Night. I've been working on my plots and layouts for that. Working on Arena City, finishing up Good Boys, you know, so like I have a lot of work to do.
The other thing that I've been thinking about as a digital artist is I get to kind of stockpile all this printing that I don't necessarily need to print until I'm ready to, right? Like I can finish my next art book, I can get started on my next graphic novel, and I can get all these new print pieces done, but they don't cost me any money until I print them.
That's
and
right.
I don't need to print them until conventions become a thing again.
Henry, get me a blood culture, chemistry profile, and a blood count. Oh, damn it, come on, Rudy.
The other thing that I've been noticing some people doing is there was, for example, on Twitter, there was this event called KitchenCon.
Yeah.
And so the hashtag was KitchenCon, and it was just all these different independent zine artists and print artists and people just making these crazy experimental comics, all posting videos with the hashtag KitchenCon, and they'd like introduce themselves, and they'd be sitting in their kitchen or wherever their like shared space was, and they would just show people on a little video what their work was and then where people could get it. And I ended up probably spending about 50, 60, pounds, I guess, 60 pounds. So that's like $100 Canadian, I guess, something like that. Buying a bunch of people's work that I never would have found otherwise.
KitchenCon.
KitchenCon. And I balanced it by saying I had done a similar thing by posting, you know, here's where you can buy a bunch of my stuff. I took a percentage of the money that I made myself and I put it back into the community that I love and support. You know, charity begins at home in a crisis, but if you have a little extra, you should share it. So, you know, and you can do a lot of things for other people, which is simply share links to their projects. One of the guys behind who runs Archie Comics did a thing that was if you got a book that got canceled or a launch that got canceled because of this, send me a link to it and I'll tweet it out. He has like 68,000 followers or something. He's like, I'll send it out to people that would otherwise see it. You know, like there are a lot of people doing a lot of great things for other people out there. You just got to try to connect. Don't use social media just as a way to be depressed.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's true.
Yeah, I think like what Dan said, I think, you know, people are going to get kind of exhausted hearing about things.
I swear, if I
quick.
have one more post about no toilet paper and I'm done. Like it's just ridiculous. I understand there's been a run on a lot of different products, but I don't want to hear about it anymore. I don't.
Don't want to hear about it anymore. Well, it's true. You get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I was planning, Gregory, if you wanted in on this as well, I wanted to do like a long live video either on Facebook or Instagram later this week of just like working at the studio for like the next 6 hours. I saw there was a friend of mine, Jed Henry, was doing one today. He was just, I'm at home painting, so if you guys want to sit in and join, here we go.
I just show people the process,
Exactly.
Is somebody drawing right now?
I'm drawing.
Yeah, I can hear it.
You can hear it? Yeah, I'm drawing. I'm doodling away right now.
As you often do when we record this podcast.
Yeah, you can hear it on the way my mic is pointed. I have a stack of books at home that are like stuff that's fun to draw. Mm-hmm. Just like all over, like history books and like, you know, old 50s pinups and, animal paintings and just like a bunch of random nonsense. I have a stack of it in the library. And so I've just been going through it and just for no reason doing some of that work just to like.
Just for fun?
Just for fun. And just also, it's, it's a salve on the troubled heart. You can't help it if you have, I was going to say parents, but one of them is actually passed away. My dad is exactly in that target of like who to worry about. And he's also trying to get home to Canada from the United States right now. So he's going to be in 14 days of quarantine when he finally does cross the border, if he can at all. So you just, there's all those sorts of things going on. We have on Tara's side, her grandmother, who is also in her 80s, is, quarantining, and we can't go see her, and she can't come out, and we can't visit, even though you want to, all that kind of stuff. So that stuff weighs on your mind, whether you want to
that was one of
my
first thoughts when this was all happening. It's like, I can like go back to the country and visit grandparents. Oh wait, that's not what I should be.
That's not how that works.
Yeah.
Well, and we had so many parents that were like, "Hey, school's canceled. We're going to be canceled. Do you want to organize some play dates?" And it's like,
that's why school was canceled.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you understand how this works. I'm hoping that a few months from now, we all take a collective sigh, and we recognize the tragedy of so many old people affected, and we learn from the mistake, and we carry on with business as somewhat usual. But I think what's been really interesting is seeing all the different types of jobs that people have said, you can't possibly do that from home. We're going to realize now you can do that from home. You always could. And the control that a job or a workplace wants over you is not really necessary for productivity. I'm hoping that will be a net result of this. What people really appreciate in the arts, I hope, will be, like live. And think now, after the bubble, what the first live concert you're going to go see is, or the first restaurant you're going to go out to, or the first show you're going to attend.
I think the first one's still going to be pretty quiet. The second or third one, though.
I was just going to say, do you think this is going to have long-term effects on conventions? That people are still going to be nervous about going out, even after it's all passed. People are still going to be wary of getting in close contact with one another.
Yes, I think it will, and there'll be all the jokes. I can't even, all the people who will be talking about it, whether they should or not. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I mean, Machination Studios, who did that big Walker, right?
Oh,
yeah. They launched their new Kickstarter right away. Like he said, maybe it's crazy, but I'm launching my new Kickstarter, and here's all the 3D printing I've done, and he's been keeping track of what's going on out of China, and all those factories are open again. And, so the idea that the curve ends is absolutely true. So it's just a question of what we'll do as a result of that.
So let's say the curve is similar. So China, in about 4 months, was that about how long things took? So let's say 5-6 months from now, life is back to normal. Gregory, what do you want to have done in like another 3 to 4 months that you hadn't planned on having done yet? Like what is this going to change in your to-do list?
Yeah, well, I already looked at the hole in the schedule. I totaled up the number of days I'd have been traveling and away at shows. And then I looked at what I could get finished. And I think I can do another novel-length project the size and scope of Automatic Age and have that finished.
So you're going to have an additional publication that you had not planned on.
That's right.
This year.
Yeah, one that I thought I wouldn't be able to start till next year. I'm just sort of bumping forward in the queue. And then also putting together at least one 22-page comic that I sort of have all the rough pieces together. Now, this is assuming that all the other deadline issues that I have related to normal publication I can meet, while I'm also being a stay-at-home pops.
Plus, you and I had promised to do a 1-week graphic novel project in our Whimsical Woods series. Absolutely, or whatever we're calling that.
We did that last one in 10 days. I'd like to do another one of those. So that, if you total that all up at the end of those 5 months, that's 3 books we wouldn't have had otherwise.
Yeah.
Nice.
Small books, like for someone who's listening to us, this is not an insane amount. It's what amounts to a novella as far as the novel project goes, with some illustrations in it. At 20 pages each in a book that we would do together, Justin? And then for me, layout and design of a book that I have 80% finished, which is a 32-page, 22-page something comic. So it's more like cleaning up stuff that has been like passion projects that have been in the margins for the last while. Now I get to take center stage a little bit.
Good morning, Colonel.
Morning, Major Salt.
I took the liberty of bringing in the Mataba samples myself, sir.
Casey, we got an early riser.
Hey, I was up at 4.
A lot more video conferencing than I'm used to. I've been doing lately.
I have to do all my classes through video conferencing now. It's really going to be interesting to see how that works. The college has been kind of talking about moving things remotely just in general. Like, they want more people to be able to access classes from out of the city and stuff. So this is going to prove to be a way to test all that, to see how well our curriculum works delivered through the internet. So
I had a tech question for you there, Dan. For stuff like that, like I was just kind of wondering about this because I wanted to maybe do a bunch of live painting over the next month or two. But right now, all I have is like a normal iPhone. Like, if I wanted to get maybe a better, is there like a camera add-on for a phone, or is there like a cheap microphone option for somebody who's just doing like simple streaming? Do you have any recommendations of where to start or what to research for getting into that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it right now, but there's a program you can get on do you have a laptop, like a normal laptop? Or what do you?
I do.
So you can just use it on your laptop. You could probably connect a webcam to that. What was it called again? I have to look it up. OBS. No, hold on. OBS software. OBS, I believe it's called. Open Broadcaster Software, OBS, at obsproject.com. And this is kind of a software that allows you to connect a bunch of different things. You can have multiple microphones. You have multiple cameras. You can switch between them just like just like a real broadcast. And so that is something you can use. And you basically would connect everything into your laptop and go from there. And then it would also stream it live to, I don't know about Instagram. Instagram is like very picky about like having stuff just coming from a phone. That's kind of their thing. But certainly for Facebook Live, if you want to do like a Facebook live stream, it would work for that. And probably Twitter as well. So there's something to do. You could do that. And those are a lot of fun. I've been watching those when you do those. You just kind of put your phone over your shoulder, I see, and just kind of, so we can see like, the process of it. But you can probably even capture your screen and broadcast that as well.
Well, I was going to ask that. Is there what's a really simple screen recording?
Screencastify is a browser add-on, I think, on Chrome. But I don't know. I don't know if that would work with your the software you use to draw and stuff. You want to show that part, right, Justin?
What about like if you get a Twitch account, doesn't Twitch have something where you can just share what's exactly on your screen?
Yeah, I think so. I've not gotten too deep into Twitch stuff, but I believe they do. That's what, I mean, I see those types of broadcasts on Twitch all the time, so it has to be part of that.
Yeah, so there must be some.
Yeah, and that's a great way to connect with your audience while you're not able to physically connect with them because you're not going to conventions. So make sure you stay kind of top of mind for the people who follow you, and let them know you are working on new stuff. So
and alive,
and you're still alive.
Proof of life.
Okay, I want to talk about one thing before we wrap things up. There's been a lot of talk about, we're all stuck inside. Many people are playing video games or watching a lot of TV shows, binging shows or binging movies. I want to know what your favorite movie is that's about an outbreak like this. Favorite film about a viral outbreak of some kind.
Well, I've lately been a little bit obsessed because the new season just dropped on Netflix of The Kingdom.
Okay.
Which is like, it's a foreign adaptation. It's 20 episodes, I think, in total, and it is a really fresh take on a zombie.
Oh, that one!
Yeah, it's amazing. The new season is out, Justin, and you should totally watch it. It gets crazy.
And it wasn't like season 1, like only 4 or 5 episodes. Like it was
7 or 8, I think. Yeah, it's
okay. Yeah, they're quite short.
Yeah, they're short.
Like we blew through it in like 2 nights.
It was amazing.
Something.
And it takes this. It's totally a viral outbreak, but it's during I'm not even sure what year it would be. I feel like it's like the 16th century in Korea. But I mean, that could just be my complete ignorance showing. I don't actually even know where it takes place.
But it's a historical story. It's not like modern times.
It's a sweeping historical drama
Wow.
of a nation state trying to hold itself together after a civil war. And oh no, they bring the king back to life using this like ancient forbidden
the emperor,
science. And then when he bites somebody, it spreads from there.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That sounds excellent. Okay. Justin, you were going to say 28 Days Later?
28 Days Later, hands down, yeah. Cillian Murphy.
As long as I'm often remind people, I don't really think of that. I know that it is a zombie movie on the surface, but it is about a viral outbreak, about a disease that's transmitted. And it's really good. I mean, it's like, you know, the remake of Dawn of the Dead didn't sell the fast zombies for me. I was still a fan of the slow zombies, but 28 Days Later does it in a way that really sells fast zombies. Like, I really do like the way they depicted that, for sure.
There's so much twitching.
What did you think about the sequel?
28 Weeks Later? It was fine. It was not as good as the original one. It was fine. But for my money, I really enjoyed like things like even Outbreak, like the original film with Dustin Hoffman and
have not seen it, and I cannot watch it now. I feel like
don't watch it now. Yeah,
but it's not quite the same thing. There's actually a movie called Contagion, I believe, that's a little more close to what's happening right now. But Outbreak, I feel like I want to rewatch it just to see if it holds up. It was a 90s movie. It took place in the late 90s. It can't really hold up the same. Maybe? I don't know.
It's got Matt Damon in it, and
that's Contagion you're thinking of, right? Yeah.
Is that Contagion?
That's the one that's too close to home. That's very, very close to
right.
Like that's really.
But I can tell you right now, I had a film project that we were working on with Electric Monk that had a viral, contagious, like vector thing in the plot. This has definitely meant that is done. Like there'll be everyone will either be pitching it, or they'll be so sick of seeing stuff like that.
I think there might be some ways to tell a story that comes out. I think we are going to see stories like movies or TV shows or something come out of this, right?
Well, yeah, you know, it'll be interesting to see the productivity from artists like over the next couple weeks just skyrocket because they have nothing else to do except sit home and draw.
Yeah, right. On social media, everyone, I mean, I'm a big Shakespeare fan, and a lot of people were sharing these facts on social media that Shakespeare, during the plague outbreak in the 16th century, he wrote King Lear during that time.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you know, what's your excuse for
Well, he's also Shakespeare.
Yeah, and he didn't have any toilet paper.
I want to say, like, one of my favorite movies of all time, as far as about like an infection or an outbreak, is the Andromeda Strain. I don't know, I can't remember.
Ooh,
that's a classic. It's a classic. The movie is not as good as the novel.
Remind me, I don't remember that name. I know the name.
It's Michael Crichton. It's I believe it comes from they call it the Andromeda Strain because it comes from like a meteorite or something that crashes. So it's a virus that comes from there and it infects people, and then they're studying it, and then it gets out. And it's a lot of the same, like everyone in a containment suit trying to figure out what this virus is and trying to stop it from spreading and that kind of stuff. It's just a great novel. The movie is not that great, but it's pretty good.
Well, the movie's great from the standpoint that it was made, in the 70s?
Yes.
So you get to see that super retro 70s medical technology envisioned, because it's like a secret government base that has been ready for something like this.
Yes.
Right? Mm. And so you get to see how people, it's a genre thing, right? Mm-hmm. How people imagine what could really happen.
Is that on, do you know if that's on Amazon
I have no
Prime
idea.
or Netflix or? No?
Okay.
I
don't know.
I think I saw this as a kid. It's ringing a bell, the meteorite disease, but yeah, can't say I've seen it in a long time.
Don't they nuke the city?
I believe so.
And isn't that why it spreads?
1971 film.
That might be a spoiler. Oh God, sorry guys.
A satellite crashes near a tiny Arizona town after everyone in the community dies within a few days. A few scientists are called upon to study and defeat the alien virus that accompanied the satellite. That's the starring Benjamin Bratt. I had no idea. That's the summary there. So yeah. Anyway, that's a great one to watch. So yeah, I would like put together a playlist of like virus movies.
I don't know if that's what people want.
Some people do. Some people do. Some people don't. But if that's your thing, then I would definitely check that out.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, gentlemen, this has been a peculiar but appreciated social gathering in this time of social distancing. And it also has been this episode of Super Pulp Science, where we encourage you to join the fight and make comics at a respectful distance from your collaborators.